the end, we are all one. One universal family. Without loss of identity, we awaken from it all, and we are God the Father. So where do you live? Well, where you live psychologically, may I tell you, is entirely up to you. I repeat, you live in that state of consciousness to which you most often return. You could tonight determine to be, and you name it, you want to be wealthy, all right, it means nothing. It's a shadow anyway. But if that's what you want to be secure, what would the feeling be like if you were? You assume that you are, and that assumption may be denied at the moment of the assumption, denied by your senses, denied by reason. But if you dare to persist in that assumption, it will harden into fact, and the world will bear witness of that persistent assumption on your part. So that's where you live psychologically. Tonight you go home, and you may go to a place where 12 people live, and no 2 of the 12 live in the same psychological place. They could sleep in the same bed, and physically they're under the same roof, but psychologically they are in different dwelling places. So you can determine where you want to dwell psychologically. You want to be secure? What's wrong with that? Not a thing wrong with it. You want to be known in this world? Nothing wrong with that. I only tell you that it will all vanish and leave not a trace behind it. For you're moving towards the fulfillment of Scripture. Has nothing to do with secular history. But while you're in the world of Caesar, pick out what you want in this world and dwell in it psychologically. So what would the feeling be like were I the man that I would like to be? Am I that vain that I want to be known? Well, all right, don't ask anyone. Do I really want to be known in this world? Well then, assume that I am. Do I want to be secure, as the world calls security? Well then, assume that I am. And then tonight, though I sleep in a house of 50 or more, I differ. As far as they're concerned, they have different selections as to where they are sleeping psychologically. I pick out the place where I want to sleep, and I sleep in it, and night after night I return to that state and sleep in it, and then the whole vast world reshuffles itself. And then that state where I dwell psychologically externalizes itself in my world, and here I'm confronted with the fulfillment of my assumption, though at the moment that I assumed it, it had no foundation in fact. So, where do I live psychologically? I alone can answer that. Maybe some psychiatrists, psychologists might in some way detect it by probing, but you know, or you should know, where you live. That state to which you most often return, that's the place where you're living psychologically. And physically, what does it matter?
So I leave it to you to choose what you want to be in this world. You can be. So faith is simply an act, just an act, which negates all activity. So a lady said to me tonight, well, what must I do now? You said that you will hear good news for me, and she named the kind of news she wanted me to hear. Now what must I do? Well, I repeated to her. I thought I made myself clear when I spoke to her 2 weeks ago. You do nothing. You arise under compulsion to do what you'll have to do to bring it to pass, but you do not plot and plan anything. You yield completely. You said you believe in me. You believe that I can pray successfully. But all I do, when I heard your request, I simply asked you, is it within the framework of the golden rule? Is it something that you would like others to do to you? If it fits the golden rule, ask it of me. If it doesn't fit the golden rule, do not ask it of me, because I cannot be interested. Do not ask me to take from the people who own this building, their building, for your individual personal gain. I'm not interested. If you would like a building similar or even greater, all well and good. Nothing wrong with that. But don't ask me to do for you that which you would not like to be done for you. Do for you what you would not really like in your own life. I can't do it. Take from you one that you love, then would you take from another what she or he loves? That's not in my framework of the golden rule. But I've gone to so many weddings of those who said either that one or no one, and it wasn't that one at all. A little embarrassed when they walked down the aisle and saw me sitting, because I said, you really want to be happily married. You want to be blissfully happily married. And you said it must be that one or none. Well, I went to the weddings and it wasn't that one. So they were married. So I cannot for one moment limit it to any individual. So I said to many of them, I said, if he or she dropped dead right now, would you still want to be happily married? It never occurred to them that people are going to die, you know. All these things happen. So I said, tell me honestly, what do you want? And then try to put it within the framework of the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And use this technique.